Welcome to the most serious podcast. And today I have two really young, driven, motivated enthusiasts who are running Rize Bars, which recently appeared on Shark Tank India. And these two superstars are here with me to discuss business, life, and what all aspirations that they have. Dhruv and
Hi,
Sahiil, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for doing this, guys.
thank you so much for having us here today.
Yeah, really means a lot for featuring everything.
Awesome. How does it feel? So, I first want to start with how does it feel between the two of you? Doing this together, like I watch your episode and I know that you're friends from a very long time, but how does it feel to become now a sort of adults and just still have that friendship and start seeing you both become kind of businessmen?
Got it. So we both have, seen ourselves when we were this much, this small, and now we have grown, and we both have our own good personalities. We have been childhood friends, and we stay in the same society. And working together has actually taught us many things, and the bond we share is quite important. Like I trust him so much that we have started a business together, launched a startup, and what we say is that what I'm saying is two minds together is much powerful than one single. So we go into that kind of a thought process.
Yeah, we also noticed that due to the strengthening of bond, there was more trust on, okay, where is somebody leading the team? When we made decisions, it was much easier for us to make decisions on certain things because we have two perceptions working on the same problem. That was one thing that we noticed was really benefit. And, there are also moments like, for example, there are good moments and bad moments in business that you can usually share, and it's always good to have somebody to share these with. This is one of the key factors that we notice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm sure like having some sort of a personal relationship when it comes to those stressful environments in which you certainly sometimes have to make calls which are very stressful to take. Having a kind of bond which allows you to share that pressure instead of just piling it on. I think that definitely could be potential, I think, attribute to a good business relationship.
For
I
sure.
how do you guys have fun? Like how who manages, how strict is it going to be business, and who's the guy who's like, okay, let's party, let's take a break? Which two dynamics am I looking at?
Okay, so you will see me as like a very straight, disciplined, focused, and Sahil he's a very good spiritual. He understands people. So if we are in a
Okay.
meeting, we talk with everyone. Sahil will observe everyone. So we use both our power very good. He'll observe everyone and tell me later when he was saying this, this was his action. So he can understand human language very well. And when
Hmm.
I'm telling and talking about in meetings and telling, I'm not even seeing that focusing. But when he tells me that, then in the next meeting I go, okay, I knew that this happened last time. Now I exactly what.
Yeah,
Yeah.
specifically for me, I don't like getting eyeballs. So when Dhruv's speaking and he's getting all the attention and conveying the message, and also one thing that happens is that most of the message that Dhruv conveys in a meeting, or I convey in a meeting, it's usually from both sides.
Yeah.
So when he says something, that means he's speaking on my behalf as well, and that's
Hmm.
something I agree on. That's also one thing we noticed in our journey due to a bond that whatever we vision is pretty much the same. So whatever he says is pretty much going to lead to the same thing that I would want it. So
Yeah.
that's that we really like. And when it comes to enjoying and partying, yes, there are certain aspects that we do give a balance to. He's definitely very good at planning these.
Yeah.
How does it? Have you guys seen Social Network?
No.
The Social Network, the movie on Zuckerberg and how he founded Facebook.
Oh yes, I
Oh
have
yes.
seen.
Oh yeah. That movie.
Yes, yes.
Forgot the name.
Yeah, so I just always think this dynamic always poses the question of how do you keep conservation of this friendship as you move forward, as you grow into businesses, because of course there could be difference of opinion, drifts, and preferences, biases, because that's a very natural aspect. I think you might face it later or sooner, but that's always a question, I think, when it comes to mind when you see two young entrepreneurs trying to go at it together. So how do you ever think about that? Is that something that you ever worry about?
So that's the least of our worry because we know our vision and we know our end goal, and we have started from scratch, and we're gonna stick together till whatever situation happens. Of course, we have arguments on this opinion, this, but at the end, we know that we're gonna come to a conclusion and then go to the next step.
Yeah.
A lot of times we've noticed that there are certain distraction factors that actually break apart two people. Like for
Hmm.
example, be it money, loyalty, trust, all of that. So eradicating that and just thinking on the same motive that okay, in the next 5 to 10 years, I see myself doing this with this person. Okay, enjoying to my fullest and also working to our hardest. Okay, then what's the issue to drift apart? And when
Hmm.
it comes to having different opinions, yes, two different people will obviously definitely have two different opinions, but that doesn't mean it should be a separation factor. It should be something seen as more of a broaden in perception, I'd say.
Yeah. So I know what he's good at and what his power is. He knows my power, and we both know how to push each other. So we always have a healthy competition to beat each other, but we know
Yeah.
that's a healthy competition to just make ourselves even better.
Yeah, we don't pull each other down, but we push each other.
Hmm. That's honestly, I think, what I've learned, and in my experience, I think fundamentals, if you can get them right. So there's a very famous saying by this, you know, a kind of legendary football manager who said that playing, like doing difficult things, is like more tricky. Like it's difficult to do the simple things right consistently, and instead of trying to do 10 different things and then just trying to excel at them, if you can get the fundamentals correct, I think that really evolves your foundations on anything, be it relationship, business, or any walk of life.
Correct.
But too much wisdom on young shoulders. Don't you guys sometimes feel the imposter syndrome between your college age groups, or just the people you hang out with in your friend circles or something? Don't you feel like, do we really belong here? Because I think you are you do you ever feel that?
So the straight up fact would be that we have cut out with everyone, and the only friend circle we have right now is us and our team. And there are a few other founders we know who we talk with. So because what we realized is, whatever second thoughts, it's like if you're not focusing on the thing you want, the thing you want will actually get lost. So we try to keep our focus and use our time, because time is very precious for us. So we use the time to do something productive always. And if we see that if we go to in a friend circle, their mindset is different. They are doing something and they're just talking about something else, which is irrelevant to me. I would think
Hmm.
that I was here with him sitting, we could have planned the next move. We could have planned something else. We could have planned the
Yeah.
new. So we are continuously planning and then the stage comes of execution. So that's how we see through it.
Yeah, and we realize, what happens is when people see you doing good and getting better, they wish for you, but then when you get there, they don't really appreciate that. So once
Yeah.
we noticed that, when we were working hard, achieving things that we wanted, reaching the milestones, the people that were around us started questioning that.
Yeah.
And this was one of the key factors we noticed initially in our journey that, why are people actually questioning this? People actually question that why are you working this hard? You know,
Hmm.
simple things that really came to light, and that's when we decided it's a better idea to connect with people that are more like-minded founders, create a whole community of founder-driven people. You know,
I
Yeah.
think that's solid. I think there's so much right there, because your environment really dictates your decisions at the end of the day.
Yeah,
And
that's a very nice.
yeah, yeah, because if you just think about it, we can take any case study. How are you going to eat your next meal kind of is dependent on, how messy your room is. Because if your room is, kind of, just everything is here and there and you're just messy, you might as well just go and grab a snack and, just get done with it. If your environment is clean, that cues you for a better organizational meal, rather than, just trying to get by. So your environment has cues for you to make those decisions on. I think that really triggers and that pushes you to kind of make those decisions. You trying to hang out with different founders, I think, gives you a lot of perspective, a lot of insight on business. And if you feel driven that way, then that is of value than just hanging out and talking, weather and work with folks you don't even want to. Because that is more or less how jobs kind of evolve. Don't you guys ever feel that you would want the security of a job maybe at some point?
No, till date, we cannot never work for someone else. We only work for ourselves. That's our mindset.
yeah,
Hmm.
because I'd rather die than like work for someone else.
Wow, man. This is this, this could be something like how people cut out like motivational segments, like an Andrew Tate video. I would die, then work for someone else.
Yeah.
That's good. That's bullish mentality on yourself. I love the belief and confidence that you guys have. But I would want to know this for the segment of audience who listens to this and wants to try things, but never get around doing them. So we all have ideas, we all have plans. I want to do this startup, I want to do that. Here are two guys who actually thought of an idea and started that, brought it into execution. What are the initial steps if I am, Rahul from Bihar, 17 years old, or from Noida? How do I start my, startup journey? How do I start my plan to start, how to start bringing into action?
Got it. So we'll tell our real life experience, how we
Yeah.
started. We started with our own kitchen, we started making our energy bars in our own kitchen. But how did we land up to that? Nowadays, people will say, give themselves excuses that first we'll create a pitch, we'll take the funding and we start working. I
Yeah.
say that absolutely not the right way to go about it. First, you prove something, get a proof of concept, and then you go for the funding. So our mindset was not to get funding first, but to get our idea into reality so that we can get funding. So we started seeing all the energy bars in the market. We started studying the ingredients. We bought all the ingredients, and then we started cooking this in our own kitchen. Though the taste came out very horrible, but that's for a start, right? We started making the energy bars first. The first mindset was to first analyze the market, make these energy bars. Then we went to the manufacturers, and after the energy bars have finally come, then we said, okay, now we need a packaging. The packaging itself is a huge task. Now you need packaging, then you need licenses. So we went very small step and took the step that now has lead to a very big step. So we never stopped or gave ourselves excuse, no, we need this, we need that. We said, okay, we need this. How can we solve this? These are the things.
Okay.
These are things that is required. These are the problems. Because as entrepreneurs, you're problem solvers, right? So our problem was how to start a startup back then, right?
Yeah.
So we used to do whatever in our ability, what we can do. We used to talk to other people, get some guidance. But at the end, we only used to take our own decision. So we were going on a plane that we don't know. We're just taking moves here and there, and now it's related to something very big.
Yeah, it's about, it all has to do with taking that one step, as you mentioned, these small steps or milestones that we reach compile into big reward. That big reward is something that only people see. But this idea came into the phase a year back.
Yeah.
And at that, nobody knew what oil was. And we were working in the dark, taking one step at a time, going to manufacturing, first making the bars, going to manufacturing, all of these steps. So this is not something that people see. They see the end result of a company. That's why it seems so huge.
There were a lot of downtimes. Though you need to have a strong mind. So there were a lot of pressure, stress, how to execute. So in your mind, you have to be first clear what your vision is and execute it properly. And our belief is that the only difference between your dream and your reality is action. So we focus on taking action. And we didn't want to waste time. Today's world is so distracted. They will watch Netflix. We haven't watched Netflix since a year, since we started. They endless scrolling through Instagram. That actually hampers your self-confidence. Okay. And in a way, fitness has also helped us. We do fitness, we follow healthy routine, we eat right, we avoid sugar. So that also helps us to think in a very right and clear direction and to able to focus and avoid the distraction. There are thousands of distractions, right?
Yeah, a lot of people will say that, movies, like, come on, how can you guys miss movies? You're at an age that you require movies entertainment. But the argument that we give them is, I'd rather not pollute and focus a disciplined lifestyle till I reach there. So that's the goal we focus on. And in these downtimes, we had a lot of downtimes in our journey. Ek saal mein, it's not everything goes amazing. We are also not from business backgrounds. Our parents are corporate jobs. We're the first generation of entrepreneurs in our family. So, definitely there will be some choices that would have been wrong. Now, facing those with a partner makes it even better, because then, when there's a problem, you laugh at it. Like, there's all the problems that occur in our life nowadays, we just laugh at it. Hasi aa jati us pe to.
What I see in people also, in our friends also, we ask us, why don't you start? Then they try to give themselves an excuse. No, my situation like this, then life happened like this. Instead of thinking, you should take the responsibility and say that the only person who can change your life is yourself.
Yeah, we started off with using 500 rupees, getting all the ingredients for those 500 rupees, and started making the bars, So you really start somewhere.
I think it's all about ownership. It's, definitely. So I was hearing this from on the Joe Rogan podcast, Guy Ritchie. So there's this new show that has come out on Netflix, which is The Gentleman. I'm sure you guys haven't been watching Netflix, but if you ever do, so The Gentleman is a good recommendation. So Guy Ritchie is a director who created this, and he was on he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and I was listening to that episode, and he talked about how if you don't take responsibility for any task, it's never yours. How if you don't pick up your socks and say, okay, this is mine, I take ownership of this, then only you can completely commit yourself to anything. Because this is again, if you and this is the challenge why most people don't do this, is because the challenging part is if you commit yourself to something, then you have a goalpost defined for success and failure. The best way to never fail is to never define what success is. So like you essentially can't ever fail if you don't have a target. So that's what most people do. Like if you don't ever think about targets, and you would never fail essentially, because you just aren't trying to reach anywhere. But ownership really gets you going in terms of responsibility, and I'm sure that's what happened with you guys. Like saying that, okay, we've thought about this and then we'll start it. This is our project.
Yeah, and along with that, in our journey, we notice focusing on disciplined lifestyle is something very important.
Okay.
Like you mentioned before, there's a certain type of structure and there's a certain type of things that we follow in our daily lives that benefit us to be more focused.
What can you elaborate a little bit more about for the average person who doesn't know a lot about health, but what are they definitely doing wrong? Like what have you observed about the Indian society in general? What most of us get wrong about health? Like where should we start?
The number one thing is to first stop sugar. Sugar is the worst thing that you can do to your body, to your brain as well. Because it affects your dopamine, it affects your thinking process, and it also affects your decision making. Full of food is, if you see, there is jalebi, gulab jamun, and average people just keep eating so much sugar. And India में sweet का तो business बहुत ही बड़ा है.
Yeah.
Sweet bakery, हर दूसरी दुकान में sweet bakery होगा, वहाँ से रोज मिठाइयाँ जा रही होंगी. So if you avoid that, then that's something that can definitely benefit you. So you should start from avoiding sugar, okay, and then also that eat the right amount of protein every day. Get some fiber, fruits, vegetables. Good diet should be that, and not necessarily that I've heard that diet ke liye you need a lot of money. No, we eat whatever our mom cooks at our home.
Okay.
Normal home food. Eat your roti, rice, chicken, dal, whatever's made at home is the best diet.
Yeah, and I think another thing that Indians really need to accept right now is that there might be some things that are missing in their diet. You know? Like I think people need to accept that, okay, ye galat hai and ye theek karna hai. They're not open to educate themselves or change their perception and believe on certain things. That might be right. That's another thing that we realize that is impossible to change.
Yeah, I think that's very true, because perception really dictates again your actions, because sometimes if you feel that this requires so much inertia to start, even like the point that Dhruv said, diet is so expensive, that's the reason you tell yourself, and then you continue on with your shit diet.
Yes.
Yeah, that is, I think. But so you guys are creating a supplement. You guys, is it? How do you define it? How do you tell it to me? Like, what is your product in for a 5-year-old?
For a 5-year-old.
How do you explain it to a 5-year-old? What do you guys do?
So basically, we're a premium health and wellness lifestyle brand. Okay, Rize Wellness, and we have three problem-solving products. One being Dream Bites, chocolate that help you sleep at night, and one being Bliss Bites, chocolate that help with menstrual pain, and the third product is one of a kind energy bar that has caffeine and taurine in it.
Okay.
So now, if I have to explain this to a 5-year-old kid, I would say the dairy milk you love, please do not eat that, because that will make you fat. You can eat this, which has sugar-free chocolate, is made of it has carbohydrates. It will also give you the same satisfaction of a dairy milk, but it's good for you.
I can now see. Yeah, I can now see the front and the back end of the organization. Like Sahil is more into the intricacies of what business is. But that's awesome, guys. And what do you think, like what's your take on this? Like, can an individual, instead of a regular Indian conventional diet that we have, by using, kind of like, let's say, a product like Rize Bars or protein bars, or let's say protein shakes, and just how much of our diet can be like covered by that? Like, instead of having 3 meals, can I have just 2 meals and then have all of these supplements? Will that take care of my whole diet, or is it the other way around?
No. So at the end, it's just a supplement, right? It's just an addition you're giving to your body. Your main what you eat in your breakfast, what you eat in your lunch, and what you eat. These are just something that if you're hungry and you won't eat chips or go eat chocolates which are a lot of sugar, you can have this,
Snacking, yeah.
give you protein, give you right carbohydrates, give you fiber, and it's a better alternative. But it's never, I will never say that it's a meal replacement. It can fill your stomach and you won't feel hungry. That is good because if you're in a weight loss, you can eat this and then for 1-2 hours you won't feel hungry. And then you can eat
Yeah.
something. So the core should be right. What the mentality should be that you should eat the home food that is being made in your house.
And let's go to something that Instagram audience likes more. Let's talk about Shark Tank. So what where does that story start? And can you let me put you in a situation and then you narrate this from here. You've just entered that tank, and you are just walking down the aisle, and you've seen this five judges in front of you, all the cameras and mics placed aligned. What is going inside both of your head? I want individual perspective. What is going inside Dhruv's head and what is going inside Sahil's head?
So I'll start. Once we were entering, our goal was, I knew that sharks are ready to eat. I was just like, what questions they're gonna ask. I
Yeah.
was little nervous. Obviously, the whole national team is gonna see, maybe a little shiver, but just went there and went with the mindset that okay, let's do something, let's show them. So went with a smile, saw all of them, and like I used to see them on season 1, season 2, and season 3. I'm here. Oh my god! So I was in a shock. For 1 minute, I cannot think anything.
Yeah, and I remember when we were walking, and तो ध्रुव ने बताया nervousness थी थोड़ी. Then there's a little
Yeah.
nervousness that happens. If you see it on the Shark Tank, we were able to fake it, for the initial few minutes at least. But I realized that okay, now this is really happening. And first or second season, they used to be there. Now we're pitching it to them. What questions might they ask? So rehearsing the questions that they might ask, being prepped up what question they could ask for. So all of that was going in.
There was also a reality check. Okay, we are actually here. It's done. This is Shark Tank.
Yeah, we saw
This is the set.
Anupam. I think the first person I saw was Anupam because he was just straight in front.
Yeah.
And he gave a reaction, like he gave some reaction, and we were also there. We saw the reaction, so put a smile to our face.
No, I love the energy that you guys had on the episode, man. And how was the experience like? Did you get to meet the guests, like the sharks, post that episode? Like how does that work? Do you only get to meet them during the shoot?
Yeah, we only get to meet them. We haven't met any of them who were our panelists after the games. Yeah.
Okay. And like, what was the whole experience like? Did you guys go for like how long is it, and how long did it take to shoot your episode? Like, what was the experience in general like? I am sure this was the first time in front of the camera for you guys both.
Yeah. So first you have to apply their form. Then they select you. Then there's 3 rounds of form. Then they call you for audition. And then
Okay.
after suddenly call you to stay that you'll stay in Sony's hotel for 3 days, where you rehearse from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. This is the set. This is how you need to go. And then our shoot was for 1 hour, more than 1 hour, but they cut it short and showed in only 15 minutes. What are the best parts they find and they put.
Got it. And how did you guys both like the experience? Like, do you feel this is something which you enjoyed, or do you think this is something that you might outsource once your organization scales?
So what we felt like was obviously a little disappointment because that back then our shoot happened in November and it got
Yeah.
aired in March, and we were pre-revenue back then and we haven't even had a team of ourselves and we're just learning out there and we're growing, learning, and that's why we went in a mindset to learn, get more feedback.
Yeah.
Instead, that a lot of instances that was not shown on the camera, but there was a lot of instances where we felt really disappointment. Not that we didn't get funding or anything, but there was a disappointment how the approach was towards us. We thought that are these sharks having a beef with us or something.
Yeah.
So here, see, from the television's point of view, when we talk about, TRP and everything must have looked superb, but at the same time, they need to realize, I feel like to a certain extent that there were college students coming on board.
Yeah.
We are like the voice of India. We want to motivate students to actually do more startups and come on Shark Tank and promote Shark Tank. But once you get bashed on Shark Tank in a certain way,
Yeah.
would send out this message that अगर तुम भी करना चाहते हो तुम्हारे साथ भी यही हुए, you know. ये perception बहुत youngsters को लग गया था, and you know we talked to few people, they were so there were other people who didn't get aired upon, you know, and they got the same response as the Shah gave us. You know, us being us, we have each other, we can well with
Yeah.
it. People couldn't handle it, and you know उसके बाद they said मैं तो job करने जा रहा हूँ, you know. So
Wow.
entrepreneurs were so shocked that they went to security after listening to these.
That was quite shocking for us.
Yeah, that was very shocking for us.
Because they gave it, because they saw it in the TV, people get funding, so they were like, now we're going to get the funding, we're going to start. Once they didn't get, they got so demotivated that my only option was Shark Tank, and now it failed. Now they're going back.
Sure.
So people shouldn't have so much high hope, because we were very strong-minded individuals. It also did affect us a lot that day, that night. But obviously we knew that we had to move on to it, and we need to keep going and prove everyone wrong and prove ourselves and prove our brand right. That was the mindset.
I think the fire, you know, even struck even harder that night.
Yeah.
Even more motivated to push and make sure that everybody sees that okay, this is actually really possible.
Yeah.
Because
I think there are two things there, and I feel the first is it's really detrimental to the confidence of any individual or a group of individuals trying to, enter that space so young. I think that's definitely true. What I also feel is that incidents like this are very good for initial kind of development of bandwidth. They're like character development incidents. Like, you now post that experience are way more equipped to handle situations. I think that is what these moments bring you, and these experiences really help you with.
Yeah, we're
Because
always
sorry.
we're always open for feedback and learning from the experience, because
Yeah.
before launching we had something else in my mind, and once we launch we see something else.
Yeah.
You know, so we keep on taking feedbacks, learning, and we learn from our mistakes. You know, how can we improve? This is what we can do next time. But we're actively taking feedbacks and collecting data, because the mindset, like what our goal and mindset was before launching, you wouldn't have actually known the reality once you have actually launched and you are in the market.
Yeah. Like things seem very nice on the upper layer, but when you
Yeah.
take it, you realize that okay, it's sort of different than what we experience. So that was one of the key factors we realized.
But which you'll only experience once you've actually launched. There are like 2 worlds. I was in 2 worlds before the launch phase and after the launch.
Yeah, there are some things you'll never know before the launch.
Yeah.
It's impossible, almost impossible to know before the launch.
Yeah. But obviously we had a positive mindset towards before launching and after launching.
Yeah.
Do you guys sometimes think that because you are so young, so people don't take you seriously?
Yeah.
Do you ever think about that?
All the time. Our own manufacturers, once we went them for the first time, they thought दो बच्चे आ गए हैं, ऐसे ही मजाक करने आए हैं, they want to create this, चले जाएंगे. Then we kept on calling them, kept on coming. Then we went with the presentation. Then they finalized. They are serious, yet not so serious. But it was again once they saw that, this is what we pulled off. Now they take us very seriously. Like even if tell them now we are opening our own manufacturing, they take us seriously.
They took us very seriously when we said that to them. Though joke करते हैं हम बहुत.
Yeah.
So like there should be a little bit of good balance between building good relationships with manufacturing, everyone. So everybody will take you in a joking manner if you're young. They think that you don't have enough experience, but that's what we're out looking for, is more experience, getting more knowledge, getting more mentorship, getting a different perception on things.
But nowadays, wherever we go, wherever summits or meetups we go, so you usually don't start what's your age, right? We start talking, and then they are like, what's your age? And we tell them, take a guess.
Yeah.
So they will guess 27, 28, 29, and like, no. Then we take a second guess, okay, 24, 25. And once we say 21, they're in like next level of shock.
I'm sure you guys would enjoy that. I think there's a certain smugness when it comes to, doing what people are doing at 31, you're doing at 21. I think that's, if you have it, flex it. I think, use it to your self-confidence as much as you can, because it is commendable. It's definitely something which most people certainly are always dreaming of, trying to think of, planning on executing. But it's very good, I think, in such initial years of your life, to learn all of that organization, to learn all of that, just experience of things are possible. Like if you try to put pieces together, things start to happen and you can create things. That's kind of inspirational to, I think, so many people who have a lot of time at hand in college, because I feel Indian education allows you a lot of time, like in college, if you are just, if you're not trying to top the college and if you find academic value in that, I'm not sure there is, but then you have a lot of time at hand, and you can also try things like this because you don't come from, background of, again, you said business or affluence or something, like, you've got unconditional support or financial no constraints from parents. You kind of built this on your own, and it started off as a project and now here it is. I think that's very inspirational for people who are in college.
Correct. Your hard work actually shows off and it pays off. For
Yeah,
sure.
and I feel like if somebody could put a little bit effort rather than going on Netflix, YouTube during the college hours and then spending time on learning what entrepreneurship, starting something of your own is, that'd be really beneficial to them as well.
So even with our investors, we see that they tell us in 24 hours you have no clue how much of amount of work you can actually put on.
Yeah.
So it's basically what you're doing with your time shows later with the time. Right now you must be wasting your time in college and this, but later on it affects. Right now I am sacrificing everything, putting the work, building a brand, setting out a team, getting people on board with me with the same vision. So
Yeah.
it's really exchange of time where you're exchanging your time and where and with who.
Yeah, and we realize that, sometimes we used to crack a joke that जितना पैसा हम लोगों ने college में डाला अपना business में डाल के we would have learned more, So that's one
Yeah.
thing that, because we actually did learn a lot
Yeah.
starting something of your own, way more than college could ever teach us.
Definitely true that, brother. I think there is only so much that college can give to you, and I honestly, I don't have a problem with that also. Like,
Yeah.
I feel it's I think it allows a platform, right? So college not being as stressful, and you realizing that college is not that valuable, like that academic education is not going to get you so far in life. Might as well try your hand on something practical, might as well go out and try something if you've got that chance. But if you consciously choose to just sit and you know criticize,
Correct.
that is where all of the energy goes. Because I the last episode that we recorded was with Mr. Vivek Atre. He's an ex-IAS officer, and he's a speaker now, and I asked him a question of, like, what is an indicator of failure and not success. And he said it's a constant state of disgruntlement, criticism, sadness with your life. Like if you've done anything and you're just consistently criticizing things and not taking any actions about them, then it's a very clear indicator of you failed at life, certainly. Because you're so detached from the process of whatever you're living that you're just criticizing. And I think to have that level of perspective which you guys have at this age will be really helpful in navigating those complicated situations when it comes to tracking business. Do you guys ever think about like, what are your inspiration? Do you follow the Zepto guys?
We do. We see them that they have done something very good, and we would like to compare with people who are better than us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're always meeting more people who are better than us. What are they doing? How can we get better every day? We tell ourselves if we're not better than yesterday, then we're not good.
Hmm.
And yeah, we do follow some people that follow certain type of lifestyle again, not the type that is more traveling based, but something that focuses on discipline, like you mentioned, entertain.
Yeah. So one more thing that we mentioned, both Andrew and Tristan, they are like brotherhood and they preach on brotherhood and they're actual
Yeah.
brother and how they help each other and do that, and they have like sparked a lot of fire in a lot of youth. But
Yeah.
what I also want to portray is that we're not actually real brothers, but we have the
Yeah.
same bond like as the real brothers, and you can have that Andrew and Tristan bond, even not having the real brothers. Just choose your real brother. It doesn't need to be your blood, and you can still have that same bond. So that is possible.
Yeah.
And just the fact that inspiring the youth to go out and do something better for themselves is something that we really want to see the Indian audience. Like India is such a huge population of youngsters that need to be guided into the right direction.
Yeah.
People just tell us, they think that we are from rich background. There was some connect how we reached out to Sunny, but that's absolutely false. We're not that from a rich background, and we outreached Sunny to actually get on board with investment. So we are much different than what they are people actually thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Do you? I think you believed that you took that shot. Now you sending out that cold email is again that's a decision which you took, and your competitors maybe didn't, or your peers didn't, and that is where it happens. Like you have to shoot out that email for someone to respond from the front. Like they won't ever. You what's the quote? 100% of the shots that you don't take, you miss.
Yeah, nice. Yes.
And I think getting a like face of the brand like Sunny is such a again a huge statement for guys who are not even like just out of college and who are not from any background of marketing, PR, or social communications or things like that. So how
Yeah.
did you figure out that, and how did you figure the logistics out?
Yeah. So if you see in our point of view, we just had an idea. We didn't even have the actual products, and now we want to get investments. And we reached out to VCs, but their mindset was different. They started rejecting. They don't want to get in the food category. They had this and that. But once we went to a summit where Sunny had actually come for a closing ceremony, that's where the idea clicked. We tried to reach out to her that time, but we couldn't. But our idea was that what is the best shot? We reach out to her for investment and us also for brand ambassadors. For us,
Yeah.
that would be wow, that's something crazy, like something that we will earn with our own. So that was the idea. And then we shoot out the mail and everything. And that actually turned into something. But we actually closed it. It took time. Even after the reply, there's no commitment. There's no that, okay, she will invest. But it took time. And what we were in a mindset was hoping positive and doing the best. When we asked for them investments from them, we didn't
Yeah.
even have. It was just us two who they clearly took a bet.
Yeah, and that I remember back then it was the riskiest choice we could do because they're situated in Mumbai, and we had to go meet Daniel for the meeting. And we had previously approached 40 plus VCs who had given us rejections and all that. So we told our parents last 10K do or hum log chalte hain Mumbai, and then we went to close the deal.
Yeah.
He took a bet on us, and that's when the journey started.
Man, you guys are doing so much for so much at this age. How do you get time for your girlfriends? I'm sure they're very upset with you guys.
Good question.
Good question.
Who wants
Uh,
to take that? Let's see.
what to answer?
So
Sahil was, I think Dhruv was answering all of these questions first. And Dhruv, I think you don't want to take this one.
I will take this one.
So we actually don't have any girlfriends as such.
Yes.
So we indirectly don't have to give time to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
We don't
that's a
give
smart
time.
one, man. Yeah. I think that's a smart fix.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, do you ever regret, or do you have any, like, sometimes when you're working so hard, because I'm sure there would be days where you are just so tired, and you might see your friends kind of going on and out about it, going out on weekends and things like that. Does that ever like either of you, does that ever take a bone that maybe I am doing so much more extra, and I just want a break from this? I don't want this. Have you ever felt this, like a slight?
We actually feel bad for them. It's not time. I feel more better, and I feel that we actually need to show the real picture to people, and they will only
Hmm.
see once someone in their circle, someone in their age actually crack that. Then maybe it will help them.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we don't have any fun. We have our share of fun, yes, and we work hard for it. And once you try to achieve it, it feels even better when you're earning that kind of fun.
Yeah, it's quite simple. Work hard, party hard.
That's it.
Solid advice, guys, because honestly that is also, and you are fitness enthusiasts. I'm sure you've heard about Andrew Huberman. Have you heard about the guy?
Yes, yes, yes.
So Andrew Huberman is Stanford neurobiologist, and he talks a lot about physiology and about the mind. And so I sometimes think that I was watching his dopamine episode, and how he says that reward mechanisms are such an important and part of our like physiological hormonal release. So I think sometimes what happens is, and I've talked to my share of psychologists on the show as well, we don't as well and try to understand the physiology and delve too much into the mental part of things. I am feeling anxious, I am feeling this, I am feeling that, I am having a panic attack, and everything is mental. Have you drank any water since 7 a.m.? Like, no. Have you had anything to eat which contains any source of energy? No. And you've not had a active lifestyle, and then if you feel that I am anxious all the time, because you're not taking care of your physiology.
Yeah.
You can't solve the problems of mind with the mind. You have to solve them with your body.
Yeah, and that's why you go in the gym, push yourself. So we
Exactly.
saving. A stronger mind needs a stronger body.
And you guys coming from that health and wellness space, I'm sure you see trends, or you have access to market data which shows you a picture of India. Because I work in consulting, I have an idea of what pharma consulting landscape looks like currently and what will it look like probably in near future. So do you think India is making a conscious choice towards being a more healthy nation, or do you see it making choices to becoming a more unhealthy nation with all the snacking? And like, what's your take on this country's future in general?
I feel it's much harder in India to make someone eat healthy than unhealthy. That's
Hmm.
what is my personal take. I think people will easily move by the unhealthy stuff than actually choosing the healthier one. Maybe that healthy one be 10, 20 rupees expensive, but they would go for the unhealthy one, knowing that it may be harmful for them, but they will eat it knowing itself.
Yeah, and I think it's a constant battle between, healthy snacking companies and unhealthy snacking companies.
Yeah.
Yeah, constant.
It's a constant competition that happens between them. And one thing that so what happens when you eat unhealthy stuff, it affects your dopamine. It gets you addicted to the taste, and your mind craves that taste. So once you keep doing that again and again, it becomes a habit. So Indians have been put into this habit of eating unhealthy.
Yes.
That's Yeah, that seems like a fact, honestly, because in my personal life also, I feel it's always easy to get access to unhealthy food. I think not true when you are in a like home environment. I guess then you're under the supervision of your parents. Maybe then you don't have as much access. But once you start living an independent life, then it's easier to get access to unhealthy food. But I want to ask this question on a on a more morally deeper level. Okay, do you feel like you face competition from unhealthy snacking? Let's say, okay, you are trying to replace them, you are trying to kind of trying to replace what some fried chips, instead of that your consumer chooses healthier option for snacking. Okay, but do you feel a moral kind of difference with these unhealthy snacking companies? Like, why are they putting so many ingredients which are detrimental to a human's health? So do you feel that morally they are doing something wrong and you are doing something right?
So I'll be honest, like morally, yeah, they're doing something wrong. Their ingredients are very cheap. They're cheap cost ingredients, right? So they can price it at 10 rupees, 15 rupees. Our ingredients which are better and healthier, they're absolutely more expensive.
Yeah.
But the moral is not even the company's fault that they're doing the fried chips. There will be an audience always for it who wants to eat those fried chips.
Hmm.
And you cannot stop that, you cannot eliminate that, you cannot replace that. Even that you are following a healthy week for one day, maybe somewhere you went out, you want to have those.
Yeah.
It's not a part of their own daily life, so I don't think morally there's anything wrong. But it is also not at the right at the same time. You're giving harmful ingredients to people they're consuming on a daily basis, but they're making profits at the back. So maybe in that way it's not right, but there's a consumer who will always want to have that.
Yeah, so it always boils down to what the consumer wants, not what the company is making.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if the consumer themselves crave for poison, and there's somebody ready to sell poison, then why not buy poison?
Yeah. That's actually smart. And if you think about it, I think this is something that's missing. This insight, this kind of a conscious view of the world. I want you guys, give me your opinions on this. I feel we are just so much constantly absorbed with simulation, and everything is just so stimulating. I can have tasty chips right now, I can watch 100 neural context switches, Instagram reels, and I can watch a podcast, I can watch a movie, I can just order this, order that. You just become like a observer in your life, and you just lose track of living consciously and seeing what is happening to you and what is happening to the world, which is rightly, if you try to look and see, okay, why is this company selling me something so cheap which tastes so tasty? Might as well get a look at those ingredients, because they are detrimental. If you are, I think, what's the quote on Facebook or something like that, if you don't know what the product is, you are the product, and something like that. Like,
Correct. So you're absolutely right. Today's everybody with all these products, with all these companies, they've actually made the consumer so lazy. Like you're
yeah.
sitting, You can get your delivery in 10 minutes. You can call anyone from your phone to clean your house. You can call Urban Clap, not just taking the name. But there's a company that you can do anything while just sitting at home. You
Yeah.
don't even so people are getting very lazy too also. They don't want to actually take an effort that I have to see what is this ingredient. Oh no, I have to go out, call someone, or no, I have to go get out in the gym. So it all boils down to people being actually very lazy.
Yeah, and this lethargicness that has come into place in India right now because of all of this variety, it's also affecting productivity of people.
No wonder they are problem-solving companies, that brands. I mean, we ourselves use 10-minute quick commerce delivery. Other companies we use them, but we also know that we have to get out of the house and do the real work as well.
Yeah, and sometimes a lot of problems are not really realized by people until it's spoken out aloud again and again to reinforce that into the person's mind, and then it actually becomes a problem.
Yeah. Wow, man. I think I honestly love this conversation with you both. Very smart and very driven. I love the motivation and enthusiasm that you have. I am sure that we will have you again for some time once Rize Bars, does something, takes the next step. Would love to see what you guys do, and definitely rooting for Rize Bar success. Thank you so much for taking the time out, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us here.